Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Got another very exciting show for you out there in social media world. Another good one here. Oh boy, it is the evening edition, baby, for the So Walter Jones Show. Today is Friday, TGIF. We just got through going through another wonderful week in politics, in news and music, entertainment, you name it. BET. Hey, Jackie. BET. Black Enterprise Television just got through airing for 3 nights. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think it was. The New Edition miniseries, and every black person in America, if not the world, was, well, those who are like music, their music was hooked to that television. Whether you liked the group or not, you were watching. You know, we have so many biopics out there, and I'm going to go through a plethora of them. Okay, go ahead and hit the share button if you can. And for those of you who are on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right there, and maybe there's one over there in the corner. And let's talk about this thing, the New Edition. I'm going to do a New Edition effect on the Sir Walter Jones Show, where I play all of their music from the beginnings all the way to the end. Okay, on that show coming this come Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. But today's talking points, because while watching that miniseries, I began to understand things that we already knew. Many of you who watch the series says this is just a repeat of what we know about how blacks come out of the projects, so out of poverty up into upper echelon in entertainment and money, and then back down they go from rags to riches to rags. We've seen this before in many of our biopics that we have seen on TV, and so we'll go through that. Some things that I personally, for instance, I'm watching the news a few minutes ago, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm seeing that history repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun, and many people who are given money, especially, we're talking about African Americans today, right? When we're given money, when you put money into the hands of the poor, a lot of times they don't know what to do with it. Okay, they didn't know what to do with the $50, okay, that they get. So what makes you think they know what to do with the $5 million that they get? Okay, there's an old saying that says a fool and his money will soon part. Well, when you take a boy or girl out of the projects, out of poverty-ridden neighborhoods, it's like thinking that a person who loves to sleep around with a bunch of women, a guy, and then he starts dating you, and then you say, well, I'm going to see if he would marry me, because if he marry me, he will change. Because then, as soon as he says I do, that thing in him, that hoardism in him, will be gone. And then he'll stay faithful to you. No, that doesn't happen. Jonas, money doesn't come with instructions. Jonas Lee, I love that. Love that. That's so true. Like babies, they don't come with instruction. But I'm watching the news. Let me show you this here, and the rest of y'all can tune in later. But right here, I'll show you something here.
Comment after today's hearing.
Chicago rapper Chief Keef facing criminal charges after he allegedly broke into the home of his former music producer. The Los Angeles SWAT team took Keef into custody yesterday. Keef's former producer is accusing him of storming into his house with an assault rifle, beating him up, and stealing cash and a Rolex watch. TMZ says Keef is being held on a $500,000 bail.
Anybody out there surprised? Raise your hand if you're surprised. Anybody? Matter of fact, this is my left hand because this thing is backwards. This is actually my right hand. I know it's kind of weird, ain't it? That's Facebook Live too. Yeah. Raise your hand if you're not surprised. Hit the like button if you ain't surprised to see this happen. Okay, and you know, we look at the whole. I guess we'll have to do a show on. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. All right. BET did this wonderful miniseries, and I think it's one of the greats Okay, it's up there. There they come. There they come. They go to light. I think that this miniseries is up there with the Jackson Five miniseries. I think it is, and I actually was surprised how good it was. And they really went deep, and I was surprised that the producers was the new addition. They were on location. They were there behind stage telling these actors their lives. I really was surprised that they would be that open, that transparent. Yeah, I'm really was. Um, y'all responded to that. Jackie Hansen. I'm not surprised at all. The love of money. Um, BT, if you're listening, um, too many commercials. Just too many. Okay, I know you guys got to pay your bills. All right, just too many commercials. I mean, it just took too long. If there wasn't no commercials, each night would have lasted about 40 minutes. Okay, just too much, too much. All right. I mean, it's bad enough we sold the company. Okay, now y'all got to put in 19 commercials within 5 minutes. It's just ridiculous. All right, so that's why some people just can take. So they hit the DVR because they're like, you know what, I ain't watching this live because it's gonna drive me crazy. All right. Number two, I understand that the what you call those people on who restricts language on television and what they call them, those people. Somebody will type it in there, but the word shit was used like every other phrase. I mean, it's like when you finally let somebody. It's for instance, if if you let a word in that has been forbidden for a while, never, once you let that word in, it's like you overly use it. Thank you, Natalie. Censorship. This used to be a time you couldn't say "be," you couldn't say "sh." Okay, you couldn't. There's some words you couldn't say. Now watch this. They beat nigga, but they let she just go wild every night. It's like they were proud to put it in there. They said we're gonna overly put this in here. Just it's the ratings just amazing. Yeah, ain't that something? It's cable, but even in cable, just basic cable, you still could not use certain terms. They beeped it on cable for many years. You couldn't use it. Now they just letting more and more. And on our regular television, they're allowing certain words in that we've never heard before. ASS is being used, but we used to wasn't able to hear it. But Fox and other stations, okay, that's another show. I don't want to go too far. Number three, one thing that I was impressed with the BET thing is that they respected Whitney Houston. Hit the like button if you agree with me. They respected Whitney Houston and all her woes and issues and problems with drugs and hanging around with Bobby Brown. They did respect her. They mentioned her name one time, and that was it. Okay, I was impressed with that. Yeah. um, the other thing that I did notice, okay, which was not a surprise, was that there were no fathers represented in that movie. Notice that when they were sitting at the table. Now here is the foundation of this broadcast today. That there were no fathers at the signing table. Okay? Whenever there were good or bad things happen, the fathers were not there. Now, of course, they were telling their stories because apparently the fathers wasn't there in their lives for real, so they had to tell the story. Got that. But wasn't that sad to always see the mothers? Never once, at least I never saw the fathers. I saw the uncle, but in the series I never saw not one father. When the money was bad, the fathers were supposed to kick in and say, no, it was all mothers. So I want to talk about the top black music biopics that possibly, thank you, Jackie House. Like I said, just the uncles. I never had a foul language on TV back in the day. If they said shit, we open our mouths like, what? Telling my, hey, yeah, Jackie House, that's true. Here's some of the top black biopics I think were some of the greatest out there. I know that there were no fathers in the miniseries. Yeah, not a one, Coco. Um, here's I'm gonna start with 17. I got 17 black music biopics. Most of you seen them all, okay? Most of you seen them all. Number 17, of course, the Five Heartbeats. Uh, yeah, the uncles. I only seen one uncle, by the way. Each person, the guys to the manager, were interviewed individually in order to get an authentic story. Many things were revealed in the reading of the script. Like I said, they had to tell the truth because apparently the fathers were not there in real life. The Five Heartbeats. I think the Five Heartbeats were a depiction of the Dales. Many people didn't know who the Five Heartbeats were about. Like they were some mythical group, but I think it was about the Dales, believe it or not. Number 16, Man in the Mirror. Great biopic. I think it came on the VH1. It's the Michael Jackson story. 15, Lady Sings the Blues with Diana Ross. That was a 1972 movie, and I think she did Mahogany as well, didn't she? Okay, all right. Lady Sing the Blues. 14, Straight Outta Compton, a surprise hit breaker box office record, and earned an Oscar nomination. Produced by Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, on the legendary group NWA. Okay. 13, the biopic Notorious. Now that was, of course, the retelling of Christopher Biggie Wallace. Love it when you call me Big Papa. 12, Tony Braxton, Unbreak My Heart, came on Lifetime. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie. Okay. Let's see. 11, Crazy, Sexy, Cool. That's the TLC story. Starring Lil Mama, Keke Palmer, and Drew Sidora. I believe that's the name. Yeah. Number 10 on my list is Get On Up. Came out in 2014. Chadwick Boseman, he played James Brown. Number 9 on my list is Why Do Fools Fall in Love? There it is. That's the great Frankie Lyman story. And then the more I was watching the New Edition story, the more I was actually watching the Frankie Lyman story, because it's really the same. Really so much alike. There was a lot of made-up stuff in the Temptations by Blue did not die at his mother's house. David died at the hospital surrounding. Okay, now tell it to us. Tell it to us. Coco. Okay, let me see. Number 9, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Great story, by the way. Number 8, What's Love Gotta Do With It? Angela Bassett, fine sister, who she played Tina Turner. Okay, eat the cake, Eddie Mae. Eat the cake. Number 7 on my list, not necessarily the top. This is not so much the top list in order, but number 7 on my list, of course, is the Jacksons, An American Dream. I will put Jacksons really at the top. On ABC, it came out in 1992. Angela Bassett, Terrence Howard, Billy Dee, and Lawrence Hilton Jacob. Okay, another great one. Number 6, of course, The Temptations. Good evening, Tekoa. The Temptations, a 4-hour miniseries aired on NBC, came out in 1998, by the way. Man, I feel so old. Number 5 on the list, but I will put this possibly at number 1, 2, or 3. That's Ray. The Ray Charles story, y'all. Came out 2004. Jamie Foxx and Kerry Washington. Y'all know Olivia Pope. That Ray was and amazing. Just crazy. I'm just amazed that that boy won an Oscar. A comedian like that who could do. Matter of fact, if you close your eyes, or if you just looked at the movie from peripherals, you thought that was Ray Charles. After a while, when you got further in the movie, you just assumed that was Ray Charles. Marcia, you saying Claudine? Claudine, I don't know if I don't think that's a biopic. I'm really talking about more music biopics than anything. That's not a music biopic, but Claudine was a great movie, by the way. Let's see, Ray. Then number 4, Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. That was by Audra McDonald, and she won a Tony Award for that. Number 3, Bessie, HBO film with Queen Latifah, the Bessie Smith story. And believe it or not, Queen Latifah can sing. You know what I'm saying? I know she came up as a rapper, but Queen can actually sing. I got some CDs that she did of some standard music, that old jazz. Man, is that the Queen? Okay, she's a queen. Okay, let me stop. Let me see who else. Number 2, Miles Ahead by Don Cheadle, came out in 2016. Yes, Jackie. Yes, she can sing. All actors singled out all of the songs in the new edition bio. Very talented. Yeah, you're right, Coco. Greg Reddick, blessings to you. And number 1, if you never saw this biopic, you gotta go to Netflix and watch it right after this. It's called What Happened, Miss Simone. It's the Nina Simone story. It was so good that I did a 2-hour show on it, on her manic depression. Okay? You gotta see that Nina Simone story. If you never, I don't care if you like jazz or not, be sure and go to Netflix tonight and type in What Happened, Miss Simone. And I believe it won an Oscar. It was just that good. Natalie says Purple Rain. That's another great one. It should be up there in the top 5. Okay? Absolutely. Saw it. Yes, it was. Me and hubby loved it. I know you did. Lamaris is absolutely amazing. Please, people, go see, not go see, but have a Netflix and chill at home with your boo. Watching What Happened, Miss Nina Simone. Okay, talk business a little bit here. According to the Universities of Georgia's Selick Center, the economic growth, money circulates 0 to 1 time within the black community, compared to the more than 6 times it circulates in the Latino community, 9 times in the Asian community, and unlimited amount of times within the white community. All right? And like, what that got to do with the movie? Well, you just keep staying tuned, okay? Yeah. Our money comes in, maybe, and it's gone, out of the community. In the late 1980s, the president of Revlon, Irvin Botner, told Newsweek, in the next few years, black-owned businesses will disappear. This was 1980s. Black-owned businesses will disappear. He was a prophet. They'll all be sold to white companies. He added, we are accused of taking business away from the black companies, but black consumers buy quality products. Too often their black brothers didn't do them any good. Yeah, Jersey Boys, the 4th season bio was real good. Okay, Jersey Boys. So here are some of the black businesses sold to corporations. All right? Y'all know me, I'm just a history buff. I like to take you back, etymology, to bring you forward. It just helps you out, okay? Ooh, somebody said Selena. Yes, Melissa. Selena was a great biopic. Amazing. Loved every second of it. Yes. Black businesses sold to corporations. Rocawear. That ain't us no more, y'all. Who's that? Jay-Z? Rocawear. Bought by Iconics in 2007 for $204 million. Yes, sirree. Number 2, Phat Fashions. That's Phat, y'all. Phat Fashion. Phat Farm, Baby Phat, I think it's called. Russell Simmons. Bought by Kelwood in 2004 for $140 million. Yeah. Number 3, Soft Sheen was acquired by L'Oreal. Remember that commercial? L'Oreal. In 1998 for an unreported sum, probably worth $160 million. Yeah. Apple bottom. Yeah. Hey, Vincent, blessings to you. Number 4, Burrell Communications. Yep, old Burrell. The Burrell Group, Burrell Communications Group merged with Publicist Group in 1999. I know, y'all shocked at this stuff. I ain't. I watched the nightly reports every night for years. Number 6, Essence Communications Partners. Right? Essence, for you black women, they ain't owned by y'all. Acquired by Time Incorporated in 2004, valued at $170 million. Yes. TheRoot.com, owned by NBC. TheGrill.com, owned by NBC. BlackVoices.com, owned by NBC. Black Hair, that bi-monthly magazine for the style-conscious black woman, owned by Haversham Publications in the United Kingdom. That magazine with all that flowing hair ain't y'all's. Vibe magazine. Remember that? Remember Quincy Jones started Vibe in 1993? Bought and sold by several private equity firms. Yeah, not ours anymore. We already know what happened to Motown. All right? And I'm leading y'all up to the great Black Entertainment Television. That's right. BET, acquired by Viacom. Bing! Y'all know the commercial? Viacom for $2.34 billion in the year 2000. In the year 2000. Yeah. Good old BET, that station that you guys abandoned. I did too, because it wasn't doing nothing for my mind. It wasn't educating me. Remember when we used to watch it and we were actually informed? They even had the nightly news that came on around 10 or 10:30. We had a woman on, then they had the brother on. Now he over there on PBS now. Is it Smiley? Is it Ricky? Not Smiley. Ricky. I get the two Rickies mixed up. All right, he over there. Okay, they used to educate us. Not no more. In March 2007, Jay-Z sold the rights to Rocawear brand, to iconic brand. Yep. I'm telling y'all, that's not money. It's gone. We ain't got nothing. It's all been acquired, merged or takeover or sold to someone else. Why? Thank you, Travis Smiley. Because we stopped supporting each other, and money talks, like someone is saying here. Money talks. So BET took a gamble, and they won this week. Now y'all are not returning back to BET because they're gonna go back to some of the coonery that they put up there. Yeah, but oh boy, they made us proud this week. Some of us were in tears. I know I was. I was a little emotional watching some of that stuff. Okay, now let's talk about their story. All right, because their story has a lot to do with the entertainment world. New Edition is an American boy band we know come out of Boston, Massachusetts, Little Roxbury town. Never heard of the town, but now we all know about Roxbury. 1978, the group that reached its heights, of course, in the 1980s. They were the progenitors of the boy band movements of the 80s, and they led the way for the new kids on the block. And also from Boston, believe it or not. And the boys group called The Boys, and then, of course, the group called Boys to Men, who made their appearance on the miniseries. I thought it was great how they issued them in there. High Five, remember that group, High Five? Backstreet Boys, come on. No Diggity, No Doubt, and NSYNC. And the group recorded mostly as a quintet. All right, here they go during the groups bout of fame. Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, Bobby Brown, Bobby, love you, Bobby. Ronnie DeVoe, Ralph Tresvant. Early hits included Candy Girl, Cool It Now, and Mr. Telephone Man. And then, of course, Johnny Gill came on the scene with that huge hit. And when they came on the scene, I thought it was a grown up. See, we always heard the Candy Girl sound coming from New Edition, and then when Johnny came on the scene with that deep male adult voice, we was like, the little boy singing with this old dude. We know he got to start with Stacey Lattisaw. They were, you got to go to the Unsung series on TV1, and they talked about Stacey Lattisaw and Johnny Gill. So y'all go there, please. What about 50 Cent? Vitamin water. Didn't he sell it? I don't know. But that's something to research. You might be right. Okay. Now, what happened to those boys happened to many of us. Okay. Uneducated, uninformed, no father. My father was there. I knew to read contracts when they were shoved in my face. Carolyn says he did sell it, Jackie. I look at people who went bankrupt, and many of us know these people. Artists, Willie Nelson. Marvin Gaye went bankrupt. He was in this really horrible relationship with his ex-wife. He married Berry Gordy's sister. Berry Gordy gave his sister away, gave his daughter away to, I think, Jermaine. He just, they was all in the family in Motown. And he made some wonderful hits. Marvin Gaye wrote, him and Smokey Robinson wrote some of the greatest songs for Motown. How is that possible? That this man, Marvin Gaye, was living, they said he was living in people's basements and in the back of his car, in garages. Marvin Gaye. And after he did the hit, we thought he was making a comeback with sexual healing, but what had to happen was the monies from that recording had to go to his ex-wife because he owed her $600,000. And so he made an agreement that the funds from that would go. He was broke, had to file bankruptcy. Sammy Davis Jr., Melissa says. I thought, yeah, it shocked me that Johnny and Stacey broke up because his parents had a problem because he was dark-skinned. Yeah, Clarence Coco. Come on, man. Lindsay Lohan. We know what happened to that person there. Number 4, Nicolas Cage. All right, our white brothers. They went bankrupt. Gary Coleman. God rest his soul. His parents was always in his life, and just really, his parents, I believe, helped destroy that boy. Before we knew it, he was security. He had to. They wouldn't give him a gun. They just gave him a baton. Okay. Michael Jackson filed for bankruptcy. He was trying to hold down that Never Never Land, I think it was called. And it was costing him so much. I think they cost him about $10 million a year just to run that thing. It was an amusement park. Okay? And no matter, then his bout with Sony Records, and then, even though he bought the Beatles compilation, and none of that stuff paid out. But Michael loved to buy stuff. He would walk into a shop and spend $1 million in a shop, knowing he didn't have the money, but he just had this thing. Okay? And when he died, his kids barely could make it financially. Now that's a shame. The king of pop was not the king of finance. Wesley Snipes. Oh, Wesley. We know he served some time in jail because of tax evasion. I mean, who are we hanging around when we get up? See, again, a fool and his money. Ooh, Wesley, I love you, brother. I ain't trying to call you fool, but you was foolish. You got your act together now. Butter. 50 Cent. He filed for bankruptcy, even though he made a lot of money. Look at his story. Lisa, Left Eye Lopez. And, of course, TLC. We know they went bankrupt. Vanilla Ice. Ice, baby. Dum. Bankrupt. Jerry Lee Lewis. Bankrupt. Well, he was messing with And then he married his cousin or somebody. Anyway, Ron Isley, Mr. Ronald Isley, the producer, singer, songwriter, you name it, the executive, whatever. What they call him? Ron Isley bought too many mansions and yachts, and it buried him financially. Yeah. Macaulay Culkin. Yep, the core. I think you didn't spell it right, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, he's a DJ. Yeah, he sure is. But in death, MJ is the richest dead celebrity. Melissa says that. Yeah, he might be a rich dead celebrity, but he's wealthy, still trying to pay back his debt. Jerry Lewis, Ron Isley. Guess who else, y'all? Yeah, Mr. Biggs. Thank you, Mr. Biggs. George Clinton lost his fight over the ownership of his song catalog. Flashlight. That was the first album I ever had and owned in my hand, was from him. Flashlight and One Nation Under a Groove. Yeah, he don't own none of it. Nope. Worth $100 million. But he don't own none of it. All right? Gone. It's gone. I have a list here of some of the other ones that you know of who went bankrupt. Okay, somebody said MC Hammer, and yep, he definitely is on the list. MC just made me highly upset with what he was doing. He decided to hire all his family members, and they just traveled with him everywhere. Made absolutely no sense. Okay, here's some black and white. Burt Reynolds, Kim Basinger, that's how you pronounce it. Larry King went bankrupt 1970s. Of course, he made a comeback. Mark Twain, yep. Wayne Newton. You know that, did you? Dionne Warwick. Remember the 1-800-1900 line? Yeah, the psychic hotline? Yep, Dionne Warwick went bankrupt. Meatloaf, bankrupt. Who else? Warren Sapp went bankrupt. President Ulysses S. Grant went bankrupt. Good old Tony Braxton. That broke. Unbreak my heart. Yeah, bankrupt. Man. Yeah, Carolyn, I'm saying it right now. I just not read what you're saying. Yep. Filed bankruptcy twice. Now here's the thing with Tony. Can somebody call Tony? She was on the Oprah Winfrey show. I remember that. Crying. I ain't got no more money, Oprah. Oh, Oprah like, come here, baby. Come here, baby. Sit on my lap. Let me talk to you. I'm watching this thing. I'm like, you got to be kidding, Sir Walter. I wasn't even Sir Walter then. I was just Junior Walter. You know, I was just maybe Prince Walter then. I wasn't even Sir yet. And I'm watching that thing. And Oprah like, how you gonna go bankrupt? She says, I don't let a request come in my office for a stick of bubble gum without asking a million questions. This was Oprah. She said, nothing comes past me without me finding out why, who, what is it going to do, how is it benefit. That's why she's still a billionaire. You see what I'm saying? But this Tony Braxton, who I love so dearly, many people had kids off her music. I sure tried. I got three. All right. And once in 2010, she filed bankruptcy, and then again in 2013, the singer claimed to owe around $50 million during her first bankruptcy. Watch this. Here's where you want to slap her in the jaw. All right. Just 6 months after her latest filing, House on Never, Braxton purchased a $3 million home in a gated community in Calabasas, California. Did you hear what I just said out of my black mouth? She files for bankruptcy saying she owed $50 million and then turns around and buys a mansion, a home, for $3 million. See, that's that mess that keeps getting us in trouble. And these football players, the National Football League, Y'all go to that show called 40 to 40, 40, whatever it's called, where these guys with these multi-million dollar contracts, and once they retire, they broke. Why? How many cars can you drive? How many homes can you live in? Why are you... Okay, that's Tony. Debbie Reynolds, God rest her soul, bankrupt, went bankrupt. Mickey Rooney, bankrupt. Sinbad, you know, the guy with the hot booty. Sinbad, I went to go see him 2 years ago. I was in stitches. He's still 30 for 30. Thank you. What I say? 40 for 40 to 40. What's wrong with me, Jackie? Okay, Sinbad. Sinbad first filed for bankruptcy in 2009. Then again in 2013, the second time around, he owed around $11 million, $8 million in back taxes, but claims he didn't he didn't live outside of his means. Why am I coughing? He says, I didn't buy Bentleys. He says, I didn't live large. I invested in me. I invested in a lot of other people. Bam, there goes the mistake. Now I'm going to say something that goes totally against what I believe that charity is. I'm gonna say something to y'all about charity at the end of this broadcast. He says, I would not change it. I would not go back. He told Oprah in 2013. All these people that go bankrupt, they always going back to Oprah. They're like, Oprah, I screwed up. Okay. Those boys signed what's called a sucker deal. New Edition. Signed a sucker deal. When I was learning the music industry back in the 1980s, I began to talk to people who were in the industry. I walked with them, talked with them, and then in the 90s, I began to take classes in the music business. I showed y'all the book and Peter Nichols, who called me from New Hampshire, teaching me the industry, the business. And he taught me about what a sucker deal is. Okay? A sucker deal pretty much is someone is interested in me as an artist. Now, back in the day, there was no social media. We had to record our demos on cassette tapes. Okay, there was no CDs, all right? You didn't give a demo on a photograph. You just cassette tapes, okay? You went down to a studio, recording studio. You didn't have one. You didn't own one. The technology hadn't been there yet. Although MIDI had came on the scene and people had started buying keyboards, okay? But still, the equipment was too expensive. So we had to go and pay anywhere from $35 an hour up to $150, $200 an hour to record ourselves, okay? And once we got our music together, they gave it to a master on a cassette tape. All right, we had reel-to-reel then, and we had DAT machines. Okay, the technology was getting. We had the 2-inch, we had the 1.5-inch and 2-inch. Okay, very expensive. That tape only lasts for about 15 minutes, but it cost you $150 or something like that. I think it was between $75 and $150 per reel, and you could only get 15 minutes on it. That's how expensive recording was back then. It still is, okay? And it's cheaper now because everybody's doing it. But to go reel to reel, still a little costly because of the analog sound. If you could afford that, you got a song recorded, and then what you did was called bulldogging, okay, or shopping, I think they call it. And you put your cassette into a manila envelope. All right, make sure it's manila or vanilla or whatever the illa is, because it needs to be loud. And what we were doing, we were trying to find ways to get our cassette tapes noticed by the record execs. All right, there was not a whole lot of independent labels back then. You went straight to the major labels. That's just the way it was. That's just the way we were taught. And so we did that. We put it in a manila envelope and we sent it to the A&R directors. So sometimes they will tell us to get to know the secretary of the label because the secretary is the person who got first hand on the CEO or the A&R director. Okay, arts and repertoire. That's what A&R is. And I've heard so many successful things happen. Butterfly Kisses, actually, that song by, what's his name? His song got famous because he gave it to someone who left it in the car and forgot it was there. And this guy who left it in the car in the cassette was having dinner with the CEO. And he's the same one that wrote "We Fall Down, but We Get Up." Okay, that not Don McClurkin. He didn't write that, by the way. All right, okay, and they were just sitting there in the backyard. I can't remember the story, and the man remembered. Oh yeah, by the way, that's the guy. I got the cassette in my car. It's the whole story of what's his name was in the jail, and they had forgot about him. The baker and the butler was in jail, and he told the story, and they forgot about him. You remember him, okay? And they just left him down, and then while he was up there with Pharaoh, he remembered. Oh, by the way, there's a little boy down there in the dungeon who told me a dream. All right, y'all know the dreamer, right? Say his name. That's Jacob's boy. I'm sorry. Yeah, his boy. So, so we had to. I remember when they were telling us, if you can find a way, they were actually dropping their cassettes from above out of helicopters and stuff. Okay, somebody said Joseph, out of helicopters down to executive. If they knew where the house was, they was dropping it. They found clever ways. All right, they would dress wild, like what's the show, the game show, where you dress really crazy, and he'd come up to you and say, "Hey, you got an egg in your purse?" You remember the old game show? You know, just to get the attention, you had to dress like a chicken, like a bird, like a clown, okay, what was that game show? What was the name of it? And come on down. No, I'm not getting two of them mixed up. But anyway, he would walk up to you and say, "Hey, do you have yada yada in your purse?" Just something stupid. And then if you had it, he'd let you come play. I forgot the name of that show. That's what we had to do. We had to dress. Let's make a deal. Thank you, Melissa. We had to dress stupid. We had to do wild things to get noticed by the labels. All right. Now, sometimes to be found is we were at church. We were at the club performing. We were in the backyard. We were doo-wopping on the street corner. All right. That's the way many people got found. There was no YouTube then. And a rec exec was coming through town. If we heard about it, everybody showed up and gave their best. And if they says, "Wow, great sound, here's my card, come see me." We didn't know you needed to have a lawyer. And not just any lawyer. We didn't talk about a trial lawyer. Okay? We're not talking about a real estate lawyer. No. We had to get an entertainment lawyer. We didn't have the money for that. So who do we bring? Uncle Bobo or our moms. Like the story of New Edition. There were no fathers. The father didn't teach the value because he wasn't in the house. All right? So mama did what she could. And so they went down there at the table and they read this contract that was like reading Spanish. All right? There were a lot of clauses and riders in there and things in there that you just didn't understand, but it didn't matter because here's how they made you sign that thing. Number one, they gave you an ultimatum. They gave you urgency like these commercials do. The commercial says, "But wait, there's more. And if you buy now in the next 30 minutes or the next 5 minutes, okay, we will not only give you this one, but we'll give you two for the same price. But call now." A sense of urgency. Something that I learned in internet marketing, which I still do today. You better get me now because if you ask me tomorrow, too late, I'm already booked. Now that's real life. I tell people, you want to book me now for March or for even November, you better ask me now because come tomorrow, I'm booked. All right? A sense of urgency. We're going to do branding. We're going to talk about branding this week, so get ready, y'all. It's going to be hot. All right? So at the table, here's what they do. They pull out a briefcase full of money. You see, the deal is projected to make, let's say, $1 million. Okay? But The label is in the business to make money, not to make you money. They in the business for them to make money. Okay? Turn the TV down. For them to make money. All right? So, how do they make good money? By paying you as less as possible. All right? I'm trying to teach y'all something. This is what happened in the new edition. Because some of you was like, how could they let that happen? That just doesn't make any sense. Can you stand the rain? A sucker deal. Oh, yeah. All right. So what they do is everybody wakes up when they see cash money in an envelope. You see, how do you get a car at a great deal? You bring cash in there. You bring, if you ain't got no 790 or 800 on your FICO score, okay, you bring cash in there. All right. They go, okay, oh, cash money? Oh, really? So at any deal, everybody can be bought out. Almost everybody can be bought. So what they do is they put this money and say, here's $10,000. Well, you never seen $10,000 before in your life, not at one time, never seen it. And they'll put that in your face and they say, here it is. You sign on the dotted line, this is yours. Do what you will with it. It's just like a signing bonus when in sports. Do what you will with it. Sign on the dotted line. And that's what we do. Well, we're like, wow. And notice they gave those boys $500, I think it is. Now, I know this is a spoiler alert. You should have seen it by now. But they gave each one of those mothers $500 a piece. And they were like, oh, my God. They had never act like they'd never seen it at one time before. Well, this was 1978. $500 was good money. And they said, sign on the dotted line. And so they signed on the dotted line. Now, they're locked. Okay? Now, here's where the bondage comes in at. All right? It's like mortgage. You know what mortgage stands for? Mortuary. Mortgage means to be in debt until you die. That's what mortgage means. So many of us who have mortgages, they're 30-year fixed. That means many of you, maybe I better not say it that way. Many have died still owing on the mortgage, okay? Because that's what it means. So what happens is a lot of these sucker deals, they'll give you $10,000. A sucker deal may be $50,000, $100,000. Like, wow, $100,000 record deal? That's a lot of money. Well, in the upper echelon of industries, that's called a sucker deal. If they didn't offer you $250,000 and up, anything below that was called a sucker deal. And pretty much what that means is they give you this check for $100,000. Now it's called recoup, and you heard that term, that name, or that word in the documentary. Recoup. That means it ain't yours. We're giving you this to further the expenses so that you can produce us an album. All right? And so that you can live and you look like you a baller. When we watch BET, when we used to watch those, on Friday night videos, and we would watch these guys, these rappers, R&B artists, the bling bling and the cars and all that stuff. Okay, we said, man, they living large. No, they ain't. That ain't theirs. They were giving this money, and so that they have to look the picture, because if they don't look the picture, you would not invest into them. All right. Notice how it took a while for them to come out of the projects. They was traveling around the country, if not the world, selling like crazy, and the bus would drop them back off in the Boston projects. And that didn't just happen to them. I remember hearing the commission talk about this. Fred Hammond, I went to a concert where we were talking to Fred Hammond and Marvin Sapp at the commission reunion. And those of you who don't know who commission is, because this goes nationwide, worldwide actually. It's a gospel group, very popular gospel group in the 1980s and 1990s. Second to, I say, the Winans, all right? Y'all can fight with me later on that. But they were saying we traveled all over the world. We were making hit records. I mean, we were selling. I think they were maybe going gold, maybe platinum by that then. I don't know. They might have been above gold. Gold is 500,000. Platinum is 1 million. And they were selling these records, and they would come home. Marvin, I think Sap was talking about. Was it Marvin? One of them was coming home. They said we would come home, and we could not put furniture in our living room after we had sold out arenas. We didn't know if we were going to eat the next day. And I'm listening to that, and I says, "Oh my God, these are some of the stories I heard all my life, and this is happening to y'all." Well, gospel, it was not as big as, of course, the rock and roll had always been the biggest industry to make money, and then of course R&B, gospel way there at the bottom. But they could not. They didn't know if they were going to get another meal, but they had sold out. Who makes the monies on these deals? The record execs, the A&R. The secretary makes more than the artists do, because you sit down and notice in the movie they thought that the major label that they would report to, that they were under that label. They were not. They had a production deal. It's like P. Diddy. I don't know what his name now. He keeps changing it. P. Diddy had a production deal. Bad Boy Records, I think it's called. He did a production deal, and then he signed Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige was signed pretty much to a production deal, not so much the big guy. Well, here are some of the major labels here. Universal Music is huge, number one. Universal, gosh, they go back to the 1930s, by the way. Their labels, Universal, up under Universal, the major label are these little independents that they have under in the house. Okay, Capitol Records, Def Jam, Interscope, Island, Mercury, Motown is under Universal Music Group. Gosh, Lady Gaga is with them. Maroon 5, Taylor Swift, Kanye West. All right. The second one is Sony Music. We know Michael Jackson had a problem. Okay, Sony owns Columbia, Epic, and RCA. Kelly Clarkson is in there, with Ricky Martin, Shakira, Britney Spears, Bruce Springsteen, Barbra Streisand is with Sony Music. Huge, they're ridiculously huge. Gosh, I can't even tell you how huge they are. Even though they're number two. Warner Music owns Elektra, Reprise, Rhino, and Warner Brothers. Who's under that? Michael Bublé, I think one of the great singers of our time. Michael Bublé, Coldplay, love Coldplay, Madonna with her crazy self, Katy Perry. All right, they're under Warner Music. Okay, and of course we know Clive Davis is, old Clive. All right, well that's the top three there. All right. So what happens is they sit at the table, and what's going to happen is they're going to give you a sucker deal. They say we're going to give you a $50,000 advance. That money goes to the managers to make sure that you live a decent life while you travel, do tours, and while you're in that studio, though, making that record. Okay. Once the record is made, all right. Let's say it costs $25,000 for that record to be made. All right, $25,000 for that record to be made. All right, and then you got the touring, which is very expensive. All right, and the hotels and the truck and the equipment and all that. You're gonna spend another $25,000. Okay, that $50,000 is already gone. All right, and then you find yourself under budget always, and that's what kept happening with these boys. They kept going right to budget, and notice they got a check. All the mamas got a check for $1.87. And they were like, "You kidding me?" They made millions, but we get $1.87. Absolutely, because if the contract was worth $50,000, you owe the label that $50,000. Recoup means you owe the label the $50,000. It ain't yours. They're giving you that for expenses only, right? And once the record is is out there and distributed among the land, and the record sales. So every dollar that the label makes go to the label. You don't get any money, all the way up till they get that $50,000 back. Once they get that $50,000 back, if they get 1 cent, if they get $50,000 and 1 cent, guess where the 1 cent go to? You. And every dollar after that, minus administrative fees, go to you. That's the contract says. Many of them didn't know that. Gone. That's right, Jackie. Before you get it, it's gone. This is so informative. I know less than nothing about the music business except what. Yeah. Now watch this. Those of you who getting ready to write a book and you're looking for book publishers, you see these publishers on Google, okay, Lulu.com and all these other places. All right, they work the same way. I'm trying to help y'all out here. They work the same way. They're gonna offer you some kind of publishing deal, right? That's why many people are doing self-publishing. People are doing the ebooks, okay, and they're doing the Amazon thing. I suggest you go that way, because if you do want what they're offering you, they'll say what they're gonna give you, but you better read the fine print, because the book publishing business works the same way as the music publishing. And here's what happens. The record label will put you maybe on a 5-year contract. All right. Guess what happens in the 5 years that won't happen and will happen. Number one, what will happen is you stuck. You can't do nothing. You can't record with nobody else. Can't go nowhere. You are like a 501c3. You are a ward of the state. Yes, I said that. Y'all go to my show when I talk about you churches that got the 501c3. You are technically a ward of the state. That means the state first, then God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Many churches want the 501c3 because they want to tax, things and what have you. They didn't understand what the 501c3 was set up for. You are a ward of the state. You don't belong to God. You belong to the state first, and then the state has the right to do whatever they want to with it. And if you want to relinquish that power, then you get rid of that 501c3. Get out of it. Okay. Well, that's the same thing with the record label. You're with them for 5 years. Sometimes I've seen contracts for 10 years. You can't go nowhere. Now, here's what they do. If you sign with a record label and you got, well, let me say some names here. What happens if you got Lady Gaga on that label, Maroon 5 on that label, Taylor Swift on the label, and then you the new guy on it, all right? What happens if Taylor Swift is huge right now and you the new guy? They're going to say, man, we like your sound. You like, great. They give you $100,000 advance, recoupables, not yours. So you spend that money to do your projects and what have you. Now, you're sitting there waiting, okay? Your project could be done, CD ready to go, ready to be packaged. You're sitting there. And you're sitting there month after month after month, possibly year after year. And you're wondering, what's going on? I can't even eat. You know what's going on? Taylor Swift is what's going on. Because she's so hot now, they're waiting for her to kind of die down a little bit down so they can push you up there. They only have so much funding, okay? So they keeping you at bay, and you're living out your contract and ain't making no money, and you're not even out there. And they legally can't do that unless they decide to drop you from the contract. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't move a muscle, Jackie says. All right? So there you are. You're sitting there waiting on your opportunity. Meanwhile, you can't make no extra money because you belong to them. You almost sold your soul to the company store. All right? And Swift, well, she been Swift for years. Well, 5 years go by. Guess what the label says? Hey, we want to renegotiate your contract. You want to stay with us? You're like, I didn't make no money for 5 years. Now the CD, the project that I did 5 years ago, guess what? It's outdated. You know what you got to do, right? You got to go back there and redo it all. Okay? Because the times change. It's not like it used to be where you can have a project that's that many years old and then it still be relevant. Not today. No. Outdated. Okay? So now what happens? They'll say, "I'll tell you what, we're gonna make you another deal," and you either be smart and say, "I don't know, I can't do it," or you sign again for another 5 years. You're stuck. And this is what happens over and over again. Okay, and that's the way the labels work. So they make more money. Those who sit in those offices make more, will always make more money than the artist, because the artist's time goes like this, and then and if he's clever, if he's savvy, if he's connected, then usually an artist will do this. They'll ride the wave of popularity. It's not too many people can reinvent themselves. Look at the gospel arena. How was it that Fred Hammond still, after all these years from the 1980s, still be relevant? Look at Marvin Winans. He had to reinvent himself, okay? Because uh, we can't say that about others. Maybe like a John P. Key. John P. Key was huge, but then, well, he huge in other ways, but he was huge in the 80s and 90s, okay? And now he's still there, but not in record sales, you see? More so traveling, doing concerts or what have you. Other than that, no, not record sales. All right, so it's not that easy. Look at green beans, tomatoes. Okay, look at her. All right, she will always ride that wave, because especially in the Southern Belt, they are very faithful to that sound of tradition, and here in Chicago and in the South. So she will always ride that way. Not too many in the gospel arena can do that. Tasha Cobb, all right, on the wave, okay? Time will come where somebody's going to come along and, like a bird, knock her out, all right? So she riding it now. It's going to cost you about $19,000 to bring her to town, okay? But she riding it now. After a while, praise and worship going to take another, all right? Shirley Caesar, thank you, Melissa. That's the way the music business works, and many people don't understand that concept. So when you say, whatever happened to so-and-so? They ain't making no more records. What happened to them? Well, it's all about the business. Ain't nobody pouring into them. You stop buying their records, so they stop recording. So how do they make their living? Through touring, through traveling. That's the only way they can pay their bills now, because it's not like it used to be. Everybody is downloading material now, okay? And iTunes, what have you. It's not like where you have to buy the whole album, or maybe a 45, okay? That's what iTunes is now. It takes the place of the 45. But iTunes is 99 cents. The 45, how much did it cost y'all back then? $4, $5, $6? Okay. All right. So I'm just trying to tell y'all what happened to New Nation. All right. So they got that $1.87, and the manager told them right. The white manager told them right. He says, if you just wait, give us another year. They said, I can't do that. No, we need to fire you. No, they says, give us another year. Wait till you reach the place where the label got their 50,000 back. All right. Now you come out with another album, and then what happens is everything else and above that, not everything, but you start seeing some money come to you. But see, African Americans, we're not that patient. All right. So they were trying to come out of the projects, and they said, we need to do this, we need to stay with this, because they wanted to get their moms out. So the label guy went to the CEO, says, man, we got to get them some money. All right. I mean, all this stuff happens over and over and over again. And it's something that a lot of you knew about. You heard about it. You watch these biopics and you see it, but it's still happening today. Not as much, because many of the artists today are very savvy. And that's why we have a lot of independent artists, independent labels popping up everywhere. Even I was going to start a label. I said, no, I ain't doing it. I don't want the headache. I don't want it. But I can set up a label right now because I know the business. But I refuse. That's a headache. The Tommy says Yolanda Adams. Jackie said the next big thing. I know. This is also what happened to Ray Charles. Yeah. Now, Ray Charles was a smart man. Ray Charles didn't play. Ray Charles taught us the game. Ray Charles negotiated. Ray Charles made his money. You see what I'm saying? He walked up in, I think, Atlanta. He walked up in there and says, oh no, I'm going to own this and I'm going to own that. And he made sure he didn't die poor. Not Ray Charles. Ray Charles owned everything. Please. I look at Billy going around in circles. Billy Preston, that poor, okay? Ain't that something? Made all that money. He was the fifth Beatle, I think they called him. Just made a killing, but he got strung out on drugs and alcohol, and he was battling with the gay thing, okay, and all because he was molested as a child, and it just ruined him, and he didn't know. No one taught him money management, and when you look at the unsung documentary, I can't talk today, and you'll see where he would go in there, he would send somebody for his money. He wouldn't even collect his own money. He would send somebody to some town to get his money, and they would see his money and says, "This is all you getting for what you just did? You know, you realize you Billy Preston, right? And this is what they're giving you." He's like, I have to do what I have to do. I was like, wow, yeah, knowledge for sure. Holyfield, the boxer. Look at Mike Tyson, another one who lost. He was making millions of dollars per fight. What happened? He lived a riotous life. Many of these people, look at part 2 of the series this week. Notice when they all pulled up in a bus per person. Did you see that? And I think it was in part 2 of New Edition. They were over budget. They were in debt, but each one of them, after staying in a very posh hotel, they were flying first class and then flying everybody else first class. Then each one of them was on a bus by themselves, one person. And they pulled up, and you see the managers, was he on the pole saying, "Yeah, look at this. This don't make no sense. You see this mess right here? This is." And I'm looking at them, I'm like, "This is us. This is the African American plight right here." Yeah, three buses. Looked like it was about 4 buses that pulled up. You see what I'm saying? So now, fast forward, you see the brother with his woman in the house, and the bank says, we got if you don't come up with no money, we got to take this house. Now, the MC Hammer story is the story that I see a lot among even us today. And I said at the end of the broadcast, I'm going to talk about the charity causes, okay? You know how the wealthy stay wealthy? Here's how they stay wealthy. They do give to maybe non-for-profit or give to the work of charity. They do. But they usually go to an organization that know how to properly distribute to the homeless, the poor, and what have you, okay? But what happens is sometimes when we give to a charity cause, it's usually a family member, and what we're doing is we're enabling them to stay in poverty. Muddy Waters or Little Walter went through that, yep. But that Chuck Berry didn't play that. Nope. Come on now, Jackie Hines. Charity. We know what the Bible says about that. Romans, 13? Okay. That charity thing can be a problem. Here's why. Everybody know what the old statement, give a man a fish, right? You feed him for a day, I think it's called that. And you teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. Remember that? What I say Romans, I meant to say Corinthians. Yeah, well, that's true. When people ask me to give them money, I don't really have money, okay? But when they ask me to give them money, sometimes I ask them a bunch of questions. I don't like doing that, Tommy. I don't like doing that, and usually when somebody asks me for money, they'll tell me why they need the money. That's fine. Sometimes I just say, I don't need to know. I trust you. I know that, you're a workaholic. So if you need money, that means if you're asking for money, you really need it. So here's $100. All right. So there's some people I said, don't tell me because I already know you a good person. Others, though, when they ask me for money, I have to ask them, all right, what do you need it for? Number one. Number two, how are you even able to pay this back? What are you doing, okay, where you found to cause you to put yourself in this particular this situation? See, some people have to ask that because they have a revolving door, or they have a spirit of poverty where they keep digging into stuff and putting it in wrong things, and then bam, they back down again. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to learn once we get to a place, because I'm teaching this in the GWAA. Y'all know that group that we teach, generational wealth for African Americans, is if you're going to give to charity or to someone to help them out, you have to make sure you're not enabling them. Okay? Because the reason why these artists went bankrupt is because once they went up, they brought everybody else with them and pulled them up, but did not teach them nothing. And this is why the Republican Party gets so upset with you, because they keep using the word entitlement. You see what I'm saying, Jackie? You know what I'm saying? They always bring up the word entitlement. They don't like big government. I don't like it either. I don't like big government. So I have Republican values. I'm very conservative. I don't like big government because the bigger the government is, the more we feel that we're entitled to them helping us pull us up by the bootstraps. You know what I'm saying? So we pull in from all of these social services. Am I upsetting you out there? I probably am, especially if you're a staunch Democrat. We're pulling into all these services, and what the government is doing is enabling us. Illinois is in a budget freeze right now because of this. You know how they fix things? They put a Band-Aid on it, and they keep feeding the fire. Put a Band-Aid on it and feed the fire. So now a Republican government comes and says, I'm going to stop that. Now, I'm not for what he's doing, but what else can he do? So you got to plug up the hole. Okay? Donald Trump says drain the swamp. Right? He's draining the swamp by putting more swamp creatures in there. That's what he's doing. All right? So that's what we do is we'll take monies, our assets that we build up, and we give it to this guy who keeps snorting it. In a sense. That's what he's doing. He's snorting it. You know, he'll pay this temporarily, and then he's gonna go back into poverty. And guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna call you again because he know you are the one who's gonna get him out of his poverty-stricken self. So when you want to give, don't be like these recording artists that we saw there who pull up Pookie and Stymez and Little Pistol Starter. Y'all come on in. We making it now. Come on. I think one of the greatest analogies that I saw was from Key and Peele. I don't know if y'all ever watched the Key and Peele show, all right, on Comedy Central. They did a bit where this boy was walking down his neighborhood, and I think they found out that he got this deal. I don't know if it was a record deal or something like that. And the more he walks, the more people start following him because they saw money in the neighborhood, and they're following him, and the cameras would pan, and more people will follow this guy, and he's walking down the street, and like, yeah, you got that record deal, boy, you got that record deal, yeah, man, yeah, remember me, man. They giving them their business cards, something like that, and more people are walking behind him in the neighborhood. The neighborhood is just now filled with guys walking behind him, and then somebody hands him a phone, or he goes to the pay phone, and he's talking to the executive or something like on the phone, and they canceled him. The deal is over. The deal is off. And he's like, oh man, wow, I feel bad about that. And he hangs up the phone, and he turned around, and ain't nobody behind him. You could hear crickets and tumbleweeds. I says, wow, genius. Because see, everybody want to be a part of you. Everybody want to be a part of your entourage when they think you're making something. See, those are the leeches that follow you. And they will leech off of you until you have nothing. And then when you need something, they ain't coming to your aid. Ask me how I know. I can write a book on it. All right? So be careful. You don't want to wind up like the Willie Nelsons and the Gary Colemans and the 50 Cents and all these guys I mentioned, Ron Isley. All these guys were spending all their monies on bringing the family and friends. MC Hammer was the worst of them. I mean, he always had an entourage and giving them all. I can't remember every 30 days what his payroll was. It was ridiculous every 30 days. Okay? And he was just giving people money away because he thought that he was going to live forever. He was going to wear them saggy pants forever and just, please, Hammer, don't hurt me. Well, it hurt him. Okay? So the New Edition story, that's what happened. They signed a bad sucker deal. Now watch this. They signed a deal and went back into their, who's the guy, which one of them went in there to the CEO, busted in there and told him, hey, what's going on? And the CEO finally says, you didn't read the fine print, man. You didn't read the fine print, bruh. So fast forward on part 3, guess what? Is it Biv? I think it was him. When they had split and did the Bell Biv DeVoe, and I think it might have been Bivens, it might have been Michael. Now he got a record label. He's sitting at the desk. He on the phone. Michael Bivens, thank you. And then you know what he's saying, right? He's saying the same thing that happened to him. The same thing. You would think that he would try now and help these other starving artists out there. No. What did he do? He said, did you read the contract? He said, the guy on the other end said, man, I don't see no money, man. Yeah, but you got to understand it's recoupable. He's saying the same thing. And this is what happens over and over and over again. And it's still happening today. So the people who call me and say, Walter, I got a record label who's interested in me. You know what I usually say to them? Run, Forrest. Run. I discourage them before I encourage them. I said, don't do it. And I try to talk them out of it first. Then when I can't talk them out of it, I said, do you have an entertainment lawyer? No. I said, well, then do not trust yourself. You don't know the business. You either get you a lawyer, okay, to walk in there, and if you can't afford one, then wait. See, because, or bring somebody in there who's absolutely knowledgeable on the business. I ain't going in there with you. And then what you do is when you sit at the table, don't just think because you walked away from a deal that is the worst thing that ever could happen to you. Don't get yourself excited. See, because the wealthy stay wealthy because they don't look for immediate gratifications. They wait, they're patient. And if that deal smells sour, it is sour. Walk away from it. And then if you got a good lawyer, what he can do is he can say, listen, so you want us on a 5-year contract? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a little addendum in there. If you don't do nothing with this group in the next 4, 5, or 6 months, then this contract is null and void. So a lot of people don't even know you can do stuff like that. I tell them all the time, listen, you going in there blindfolded, let me tell you what you need to ask this man, all right? And if he say no, walk out of that deal. You tell him, I had to tell my own son this. You tell him, in 6 months, you need to see something happen. If nothing happened in 6 months, have it in writing, get the out of there. Walk away from the deal. It's not for you. And many people don't even know you can do stuff like that. Contracts are something else. I think I better stop because I'm losing my voice. There's something else. They could be so intimidating. And the language in them, they specifically use language just so that it's like the way the Bible was written during the reign of Catholicism. The only one who could read scripture and interpret it was the priest. And it was written in Latin. They kept the people in bondage. Nobody went to the Lord for themselves. They had to go to the priest. Father, forgive me for I have sinned. Well, all right, son, what did you do? Now you got to tell this dude all of the nasty things you did. Okay? Because they put back up the veil that was rent. So they put the veil back up. That's what Catholicism did. Put the veil back up. made sure that the scriptures was not in your language. And what you did, you block out God. You blocked out the Son. The S-O-N. You blocked out the, man, I'm preaching now. This is not a preaching thing, but I had to sidetrack. And that's what we do then when we sit down at the table. All right? So I think it was one of the great biopics that we've seen, I think, in American history as it pertains to black music. And I think the Jacksons is first. I would say Ray. Ray would be first, then the Jacksons, and I think that New Edition, I was highly impressed with it. All right. Now, I'm hoping that there's a follow-up after this with these brothers who told their stories. Now they can go out there, if they're not already doing it, and helping others. Okay? Helping others, starving artists. That's what I'm doing. Soon you'll be seeing a GoFundMe from me because I'm going after the starving artist. I have already put together, every day I put together little things, tidbits and what have you. I'm doing a teaching on the music business for the starving artists. And many of them will get in for free. Now others will have to charge. I'll have to charge for it because how else are you going to teach generational wealth and if you don't set up a form of business? Okay, so, but to the starving artists, it's free of charge. All right, they ain't paying nothing. That's my way of giving back to the industry. All right, so be looking out for that GoFundMe soon, coming soon to a social media near you, and we're going to put that money into production material. I've got to travel the city, if not the country, and interview these A&R directors, these CEOs, what have you, and it's going to cost me expenses to do that, and I'm going to, all going to be online, where the people can sign in with their own little password and they can see all of the videos from top to bottom, everything to do from contracts to what the A&R director does. We're going to talk about licensing, proper licensing. We're going to talk about how to set up a production company, okay, which I am, the Gifted Music Productions. We're going to also talk about how to set up a publishing. You notice that word popped up too in there, publishing. All right, the labels want that publishing. Very important. You see, I write a song, okay? All right, I'm gonna do this right quick, and I'm gonna let y'all go. All right, I've been on here for an hour and 22 minutes. All right, I write a song. All right, matter of fact, the song's called "I Write a Song for You." Okay, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Woo! All right, I write this song. I write a song, and then let's say Larry Jones. He might have written maybe some of the lyrics. I wrote the lyrics and the music, okay? We go down to the Library of Congress. We do it right there online, pay the fee, $50, all right? And file the proper form, fill out the proper form, and send it to the Library of Congress. Now, we copywritten the song. Got it? All right. The song belonged to us. We're sharing the rights of the song. Then what happens is, what we need to do is join a performance rights organization, because who else is going to represent us just in case this song that we recorded, because I went past the recording session here, so let's assume that we recorded it, we got the CD, we're getting ready to go down to the radio stations, that stuff that I've always done. I've popped up to the radio station just like that when they played my stuff on the spot, because I know how to do that stuff. All right, so you want to get it played on the radio, but it'll get played on the radio, maybe not. Okay, but if it get played on the radio, how are you gonna get your money? Okay, we're gonna teach that stuff, because what happens is my money comes in various ways. Number one, me and Larry got this song. All right, we want it to be hot, but we need somebody to be listening to the radio station. So what we do, we sign up with a performance rights organization. Y'all see these on your CDs, CSAC, BMI. Okay, you see them on there. ASCAP. Okay, you see those? Those are the organizations that represent me. All right, I sign up with them as a writer. And if I hear, I write a song for you on WGCI FM Chicago, like, oh my God, my song is on. Remember when you watching that, they was like, Candy Girl, you are my world. They was all riding those mopeds. My brother Larry had one of those. We were riding mopeds, okay? And they were like, your song is on the radio. They were like, oh, wow. Well, the monies, depending on what time that song was played, okay? Because timing is everything. Let's say if that song was being played on the ride home from work, the return is high, okay? And they were like, wow, well, who's getting that money? Well, it depends on the contract, who owns the song. The money went to the label, all right? Now, the label gets paid twice. The label gets paid for the ownership of the song, and they get paid for the having publishing rights, you see? And that's a whole other thing that many of the new artists don't even know to do. They say, I copywritten the song, it's mine. And so why is it that when ASCAP sent me a check, the song, it cost, the song made $100. The song made $100. It got played on the radio. What happens if it gets played on TV? That's bigger money. What happens if it gets played on a motion picture? That's even bigger money. Okay, so it made $100, but they sent me a check for $50. I said, because you don't have a publisher. I don't have a what? I said, you don't have a publisher. See, because they pay you a writer's fee, but they're looking to give the money, the other half, to a publisher. You ain't got one. And the label, when you signed on, you also signed over your publishing rights too. So the label's making a killing off of you. All right? Because what they're going to do is, when you sign with them, they're going to write the songs. They don't even let you write. And that's the way it was. Michael Jackson, no longer took him to be able to write songs. Stevie Wonder, Jermaine Jackson, all these cats were up in these with Motown. Motown did all the writing. Berry Gordy did all the writing. Smokey Robinson did all the writing. Okay, those boys, what's the boys? They did most of the writing. Okay, you couldn't write if you was an artist on there. So what did Motown do? They were smart. They were savvy. They made money and the royalties from the writing, and they made money on the royalties from the publishing. That's still the business today. It ain't changed. Yes, you must read on ASCAP. Trademark your name and company. Yes, yes. So I teach people, be self-publishing. Go down there to your local uh, uh, city hall. Go to city hall, and you doing business as. Open up your own company. It is so cheap. Okay, it could be Sir Walter Jones Productions. That's your publishing right there. Okay, so then what happens is you got to sign up with ASCAP as a writer. Then you got to sign up as a publisher. Now you can't sign up with all of them at one time. You can't be a writer with ASCAP and a writer with BMI. You can't. It's unlike the FICO scores where you have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. It's different with them. Okay, you can go to all three of them, but with these other three, no. And CSAC won't even let you in. You got to be invited in CSAC. So ASCAP, BMI, you can be a writer for ASCAP, and in BMI you can have a publishing deal. Not a deal, but you can sign up as a publisher. Self-publishing. Now, when I make $100 off of that one song, okay, I'm gonna get two checks. I'm gonna get a $50 check from ASCAP for my writing, and I'm gonna get a $50 check from BMI for my publishing. I mean, that's how it works. Come on, people. Something my brother Prince learned. Yeah. Come on, Jermaine. And that's the way it works. Warn a brother. Jermaine said warn a brother. Y'all get it? Y'all, I don't think y'all get it. Jermaine, you smart. That's the way the business works. So a lot of the starving artists who come to me all the time, I sit down with them. So I'm gonna put all that stuff online. I'm gonna show them ways to do it, the forms and everything. Oh, there's gonna be audio there. There's gonna be video there for them to look at this stuff, and then they'll be able to. It's a one class, not a one class, but it's a one-stop shop for everything they need to know about the record label, the music business. Okay, to help them. All right. I'm not a lawyer. So of course there will be some things I'll say this. Okay, don't come to me for legal advice. Still get a lawyer. But I'm gonna tell you what I learned. It worked for me. Okay, I was able to make good money in the music business. All right, good money, trial and errors, but I did. Still do. I still make money in music, and I love it. Mentoring at its best. Amen, Joyce Graham. Okay, So these are the things you need to know. So if y'all watch the show again, you're going to notice some of the things that I talked about. Now watch. It always happens. When you buy a car, and you think, man, ain't nobody got a car like this. As soon as you drive it off the lot, guess what kind of car you're going to keep seeing every time you turn the corner? After a while, everybody got your car. That's the way it is. You're going to hear this show today, and then you're going to go back and watch that new edition and say, you know what, Sir Walter said that. I heard that term when he was saying it. He mentioned that right there. And that's the way it is. So that's what we learned from that thing is, number one, please, people, if you know anybody's getting ready to enter into that business, tell them to do their homework. Tell them to go on Google and study. Tell them to watch these biopics. Okay, learn the lesson from those who had to file bankruptcy. It don't look good on your credit report. Please, all right, people, tell them to study, 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 study. All right, study. And then when they get to studying, study again. Don't sit down there with a contract without having somebody there who knows the business. All right, don't do it. Don't be signing these sucker deals. And then build up, do your own self-publishing, write your own songs, because notice the labels, they want your song and they want your publishing. So do your best to try to keep it, because the money is not in selling CDs. Hear me. The money is not in selling. You're not going to make a living selling iTunes, 99 cent. You're not going to make the money. You're not going to make any money selling CDs. No, CDs is your business card. You're not going to make a living. It's not like it used to be now. No, it ain't even easy for the superstars to go platinum. You know that's that easy. That in that first few days like they used to. No, no. Hear me. Write the music, own the publishing. That's where the money is in the music. When people ask me to write a song, I get my money right away. I'll say, give me $500. Give me $1,000. Give me $1,500. You want me to write a song for you? Give me $2,000. You see what I'm saying? But if I waited and waited and waited and did it the other way, it may take me a long time to see that kind of money. Okay, if I see it at all. So the money is in the songwriting and the money is in the publishing. I just gave y'all $1,000 right there. I could have charged $999 for just what I just told you. All right. Look what Paul McCartney told Michael Jackson. You know what he told him? He says, if you want to be wealthy, if you want to really make some money, he said, buy a music catalog. Because ownership is where it is. And what did Michael say? Okay. And he went down there and bought Paul McCartney's music catalog. Peed Paul McCartney off. Okay, I'm telling y'all, man, it's funny, but it's true. All right? Because he realized ownership is absolutely vital. Y'all like, how was it vital? Well, you rewind this tape. And I just showed y'all how it is. Again, Rocawear, ownership. We don't have it anymore. We gave it, we sold it. We didn't sell it. Your brother Jay-Z did. Ownership. Iconic says, we want that, and they bought it. Ownership. They said, Phat Farm, Russell Simmons, no, Kelwood says, we want that, and they bought it. L'Oreal says, Soft Sheen is making a killing. They bought it. Okay? Publicist Group bought Burrell Communication. They said, we want it. Okay? Time Incorporated said, man, Essence is making, these black women are looking at this magazine and they selling and they buy these products. We want it. They bought it. And then, of course, Viacom said, what? BET is worth how many billions? We want it. And they bought it. Okay? The Root, the Griot, BlackVoices.com. NBC said, we want it. And they bought it. Black Hair Magazine. Okay, them people over there in the UK say, "Oh no, them black folk making all that money. We are $1 trillion industry, black people, and we would be, I don't know, maybe number 7. The top will be number 7 as far as the financial market, a nation. We're number 7 trillion, and it says we want that, and they bought it. And of course, these private equity funds bought Quincy Jones's Vibe magazine. They said we want it. So ownership, people, is where it is. And New Edition would be much well off right now if they stopped, they wasn't fighting, if they had a father in their lives, okay, if they had a father figure in their lives, if someone had sat them down and taught them the business and not allowed these guys to rape them like they did, they could have taken the monies after a couple of years when they started seeing their income and not buying all this stuff to try to be, because a lot of them, they were dealing with this mentality here. That's why we got all these kids in Chicago killing and shooting and latchkey kids, what have you, because it's about the parents. So what do? Look at Mike Tyson. He was a boxer, and somebody gambled on him, gave him this opportunity to box. But see, Michael had a problem. Michael was a thug. He's a street fighter, really, all right? They put him in the ring thinking that he's going to be civilized. That don't happen. Look at these ball players. They can't even talk. You put a mic on their face, they say, and they shoot that ball, boom, make millions, okay? And then they go out there and start raping these girls. Now you see them in front of the judge. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So we pull these guys out of a poverty-stricken area. We pull them away from the fatherless and all this stuff, and we put money in their face and say, these guys, these execs say, I'm gonna make some money off you, bro. Oh, we going places. And like, really? They give me the money. And then boom, here they go. And they turn out to be rascals. That's the New Edition story. Look at how wild and radical Mike Bibb and we talk about Bobby, but look at these other guys. They were crazy, especially Bibb. I mean, I was surprised at him. Look at the beginning of the story where the mama was like, the little boy was like, I want to go out with so and so, and she was like, Mike, him? Oh no, that boy crazy. They were little boys then, and the mamas knew that the boys were crazy. They were wild. So what you gonna do when you put $1 million in their hands? They're gonna be even more wilder. So ownership is the way to go. All right, African Americans, I'm trying to teach you something. We in 4 years of this administration, and don't be leaning on the government for nothing. All of your help comes from the Lord. The Lord gonna teach you how to have ownership. Start your own businesses. Build from where you are. Stay in your neighborhood and build from the inside out. All right, implode with success. Please don't explode. Implode with success from the inside out. It's not that goes in the man that defiles him. It's what goes out of a man that defiles him. Am I teaching? Yes, I am. So ownership. Write your songs, own it. Don't give it to nobody. Don't. All right. Even when I'm selling my songs, watch this. When I sell my songs for $1,000, guess who still own it? Me. I'm saying, give me $1,000 to give them the right to sing it and record it. But guess who still get the royalties when it's played? Moi. Ray Charles effect. I ain't giving it away. And guess who gets the publishing? Moi. I'm just trying to tell you, you own it. It's yours. Unless somebody make you a big deal like these other guys who sold. I'm not gonna say sold out. How you gonna tell a person what to do with his own company? All right. Some of these white folks who bought these companies, they kept the black execs on, like BET and other places, which is fine. Motown, okay. I'm digging that. That's cool. But we just feel bad because we don't have anything anymore, and it feels like we've been betrayed when these big corporations that we started with our own poor money, they just sold it to the man. I know it's an emotional feeling, the way it was when they would beat up on Barack Obama. Even though I didn't vote for the man, I feel horrible the way they beating up on him because number one, he's a man, and then number two, he's a black man. You see what I'm saying? So I felt bad. All right. So I went on a tangent the last few minutes of this show. I think I went there. Okay, let me get out of here. I will look into it. Melissa, what evangelist? What y'all talking about? In this day, ownership and entrepreneurship is vital. Jackie Hines saying it. Yes. Get an attorney or read over contract before you sign. And Geraldine Marble. Yes. That's good. And then bought the Beatles, Melissa. Okay. Yes. Everything y'all saying is true. Hit the share button. Share this with the young people who getting ready to go out there and say, I'm going to be a rapper. American Idol, when it came on the scene, I'll never forget. I had my recording studio in South Dakota. Man, them folks was running up in there. I'm going to be the next American Idol. Yeah! Record my voice. Can I sing in this can? All right. Is he gonna call me? I mean, I'm telling y'all, it may sound funny, but that's the way they was coming up in that studio. They was like, hey! me. Ha! I'm going to be the next American Idol. They coming to South Dakota. Can I get that can again? I'm telling you. And I'm sitting there I'm at the booth, man. I'm recording. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, Hillbilly John. Hillbilly John gonna make us some money, boy. Go ahead. And then when he get through, all right, we gonna make us a killing. I'm gonna bring you up with me, boy. I said, wait, now, bro, I'm not boy. You know, I during Jim Crow, I couldn't even lick you in the face, but I'm not a boy. You can't call me. Oh, I'm sorry. Is you Negro today? Is you? No, I'm not. I'm Hillbilly John. No, we're not Negroes. No, no. What are y'all now? You used to be colored. I remember when. No, bro. If we're not colored, I'm just call me Mister. Call me Mr. Tibbs, okay? You know, I mean that's just the way it was. I mean, it's just crazy. And American Idol had everybody and their mama coming to my studio, talking about, man, woo, wait. I'm like, no, Simon Cowell, you going to hell for allowing all these people to come over here talking about something. Can I sing in your can? I'm gonna be the next American Idol. Oh, amazing grace. What's an amazing grace, man? Wasn't it? Anyway, I'm taking their money. We was only charging $40 an hour. I'm like, we should have been charging $1,000 an hour with these hillbillies coming up in here with the 3 strings. Coming here with 3 strings on their guitars. Cling, cling. I wrote this song. You like to hear it? Here it go. Simon gonna call. You got Simon's number, right? Bring that can over here. Okay, let me stop. That's the way it was, Jackie, and I am sleepy. I am. Okay? So please, people, stop with that. The American Idol made me some money. I will say that. And then when the other thing came on, the Sheen, with the people in the chair, and they listening to the people behind them, and then the chair turned around. What's the name of that? What's the name of that place? That thing? Not The View. Not what is that thing called? I don't know. And then there's other thing they had. These singing things started popping up everywhere. American Got Talent. I was making money on that because people were coming to my studio saying, I want to be on that show. I do. Bring the... Okay. All right. I mean, good morning. The Voice. Thank you, Melissa. So, yeah. Ownership. That's the Mario. That's the way it is. Own your stuff. And I will tell you, them white folk will come in here and they will say, can you X Factor? Thank you. That's a good one there, Melissa. I made money on the X Factor because everybody thought that they could sing. It was horrible. They would send me their cassette tapes. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me show you. I'll be like, are you kidding me? They would come in there, one of these. They say, yeah, hey, I got this new hot song. I think it's gonna make millions. Hey, bro. Hey, bro, are you really giving me a cassette tape? Yeah. Ain't that how the music been? Wait a minute, bro. Are you giving me? Yeah, look at it. It's a CD power high bias. That's a TDK, bro. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. You giving me a cassette tape? Yeah. I drove at least an hour over here. Wait a minute, bro. Let me ask you this question one more time. You mean to tell me you came from LaGrange and you gave me a cassette tape with your hot song on it? Yeah, man. I'm gonna be on X Factor. I mean, you need to get the X out of my house. I mean, I made some good money though. I'm gonna tell y'all, step away from the can. Choice. The can was the way to go. I mean, I made some good money. So I thank God when I see these shows come on, the next new music show, and I see a premiere, I'm like, ooh, Sir Jones about to make some money. They gonna call me. As soon as I see the premiere, my phone going, bring. I say, Hillbilly Joe. I pick up the phone. Hello. Oh, yeah, this is Hillbilly Joe. Hey, Hillbilly Joe, you saw the premiere. Yeah, you think I could be the next X Factor? Yeah, you want to sing in my can, right? Yeah, is your can available today between the hours of 6 and 9? Yeah, my can is available. Just come on over, Joe. Come on over and bring your $1,000. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. You know, and that's just the way it was. Joe, you're not going to know. I'm here. All right. It is. I'm tired. And then what I'll do, I will upcharge It happens to y'all all the time. And you see that? This must be the after set. Because I was supposed to end this a long time ago, so this must be the after. This is the after set, y'all. I was selling stuff on top of that. I mean, it was sold to me. So when someone come in and said, "Listen, here's $500. Give me a song," and I would write them a song. And I put my heart and soul in it. And then what I do, I get my brothers out there. So now my brother can do this. My brother do the guitar there, and then I got my sister, my niece, that can do the background vocals. Well, that's another $100 right there. All right, come on, man. McDonald's do it to y'all all the time. You walk in there for number three. Number three say a burger and a fry and a pop. You're like, cool. But see, they only told you it was only going to be 99 cents to get you in the store because they're getting ready to do some upsells on you. They're going to say, you want to supersize it? That's more money. Then they're going to do a cross-sell and say, you want some apple pie? 2 apple pies for $1. Oh, wow, okay. You want to make McFlurry? That's another $1. Oh, wow, I ain't know. Yeah, Oh, they going to, that's what I learned in internet marketing. Is I'm going to sell you a product, but trust me, the product is $100. You're going to walk out of here $500 lighter in your pocket. Because I'm gonna not only tell you to sing in the can, I'm going to sell you the can for $1,000. You know you can have your own studio, old country Joe. I can. Yes, you can. Golly, well, how could that happen? Well, you see this can right here? Right here, this can right here? This is a magic can. Don't worry if it say Pringle on there. Don't worry about that. Just turn it around. If you turn it up here, you could be the next X Factor. I can. I'm telling you, I just don't do it. I don't just, I don't pay full price for nothing. Unless it's my utility bill. And sometimes I say, can you cut off a little bit of something here, all right? I don't pay full price for nothing. I'll go online. I don't care if it's Amazon. I'm going to find a coupon somewhere. I don't care if it's 10% off. I'm going to make sure, Melissa, that's Gomer Powell. I'm telling you, I'm going to sell it. I'm selling him the can, Joyce. He going to buy this can. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on Amazon.com and give me another can. You see what I'm saying? And then Country Joe, his song will come in there. Hey, my daddy, well, he ain't doing too good, and somebody got to pay the bills. Is that studio open? Yeah, I'm telling y'all. Let me get out of here. Watch the series, y'all, and share it with your friends. Tell them what you learned on the So Walter Jones Show. Hit the share button if you please, or if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I probably lost about 300 subscribers the last 15 minutes of this show. Anyways, all right. Have a good weekend. Love you guys. And if there's anything I forgot to talk about, trust me, I'll talk about it tomorrow on the weekend show of the Sir Walter Jones Show. Okay? Love you guys. Peace.